Welcome back to the Amy Kardashian Show, where our guests share their wisdom, knowledge, and powerful insights to help you transform your business and personal life. I am your host, Amy Kardashian, and today I have a wonderful guest with me, Guy Dawson. Is that correct? Did I spell that right?
Yeah, it was perfect, Amy.
And Guy is going to share with us how to start your own show and what you need to learn. He have a lot of experience, and he actually have a show right here on WCOBM, and he's an amazing communicator and a great host as well. So welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Amy. It's been wonderful to watch your show evolve, and now you've got all these other shows.
Yes.
Yeah, you've taken broadcasting and really gone full throttle with it.
Well, that's why we want to help people too, because a lot of people have the same, they don't know what to do, and I didn't know what to do, but I learned as I, every time I did my show. And we want to encourage a lot of people to start their own show. So what do we need to do? Share with us your wisdom. What is it that scares people to have their own show, in your opinion?
What is it that scares people? I just think that a lot of times they just don't think they'll have enough content. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was, for me, being the business that I'm in is public relations and marketing. And so I know a lot of people.
Sure.
Either my clients or people in the business community, and so I wasn't really concerned about having enough content, and that's never really been a concern of mine. But I have seen that with a lot of people, is they just think that that you won't have enough, right? That you think of how many weeks, especially if you're doing a show every week. Mm-hmm. When I first got my radio show started, I was only doing it once a month.
And how long ago that was?
I started my radio show in 2011.
Okay, nice. Okay, it's 5 years ago.
Almost 6 years, yes.
Okay.
It was February of 2011.
And then you went with, how long you've been with WCOBM?
I've been at WCOBM for 2 years.
2 years. I remember you were here before I was here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I appeared on someone else's show.
Yes.
So you know how that goes.
Well, that what happened to me.
Typical,
I appeared on the Danny Vegas show,
right.
And I'm like, oh, I heard that I could have a show, and I've been planning to have a show for several years before, but the platform they have here is very easy. So another key is to find the right platform for you. Is that correct?
Right. Yes, that's really important. Because with media, what I've learned is that you have to have consistency, mm-hmm. and you have to have a really stable environment to be able to put on a good show for people. You have to have the right types of partners, your producers, the people who own the station. It's really important that you do a lot of investigation before you strike out, in my opinion, because there are a lot of people out there, and I feel that a lot of them, they probably mean well, mm-hmm. but
did they match you or match you?
Do they match you, or do they really understand how to run a media platform? Sure. It's not an easy thing running a
also you're gonna have to find the sponsors, good sponsors like my sponsors.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna talk about we're gonna give them a few minutes here. Three of our sponsors: EV36photography.com, Sky Vista Consulting.com, and skinfitnesslv.com. They're really, really amazing sponsors in making this show happen. I will thank them so much. For their support. You need another thing to do something like that, right?
That's a challenge.
That's a challenge to find the right support system that you have to create your own show. So majority of people are afraid to start their own show because they don't have enough content. Is that correct?
Well, that's one of the big things. You brought up the sponsorship aspect of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's media is a challenging business, as you know, and getting people to support what you do, you really have to convince them that there's value in being attached to your show.
Sure.
And so for a lot of people at the beginning, when you're just starting something, if say you don't have a big name, most people that break into things, they don't already have a name. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't already have a name, like me, I didn't have a name, But I had the advantage that I was out there in the business community, so I got a lot of my friends in business to sponsor me. But if you're someone who's just starting and you don't have that type of backing, and getting people to sponsor you without them really having seen what you can do or your product, pre-selling it, can be very, very challenging.
Difficult. You have to prove yourself. But we're not going to take the hope away, because sometimes, even if you don't have that sponsors, you don't really need to have a lot of money to start. You have to have a time, right? Give your time. And then give your knowledge, share your knowledge, and the guest, bring a great guest like Guy, I bring him here, and they might find something special about them. It's like me, when I started, I had my co-host Stephanie Thompson, and I could tell where she could shine, so I started her own show. You know, so sometimes when you start a show, you could find out what you really, what's your gift, and people want that. You have a great communication, so you have that skill, but each person have a different skill, right?
Right. I agree that, yes, there will be something about you that
special,
that people will want to, they resonate with.
Yeah.
And everyone, like you said before, it's different, and you can find support. You can find people who will back you. I mean, I've always said that being in media, me starting my radio show and then eventually coming over here has been one of the greatest things that ever happened to my business, just because of the exposure. I mean, if you've got some type of business, being in media in some way, and there's so many platforms nowadays.
You must almost must be on social media or have your own show, but not everybody can take the responsibility having their own show, but being out there, it's just increase more followers. Is that correct?
Right. And what I suggest to some people is that you partner with a show. So
that's a good idea.
If you want to save money, or if you don't feel like you have the commitment to produce a show, because literally when you start the show, you're the producer. I mean, you are in charge. You know how that goes.
Yes.
When you're producing a show, you're responsible for the financial aspect, the content, and again, I'm not doing this to dissuade
scare you
people
or anything, but you have to be responsible.
I've seen so many people get in media and not be able to have longevity, that I like to really be honest about my experience with this. And so one of the ways that I would recommend for a lot of people to get involved in media is attach yourself to a show, and maybe you can do a guest segment consistently on a show, so you have maybe a less of a financial commitment. You bring great content to that show, and you can kind of develop and see if you want to do media, because Bruce Garrett, the sales, the CFO of WCOBM, he introduced me to my first radio show, and he suggested just doing a show once a month to see if I liked it.
Yes.
Because you might not.
You don't have to start 100%, and then you just at least get the idea. Right? And start slowly and surround yourself. But we have way more to talk about next segment, right? We're going to be talking about more about how to start your own show and what you need to learn, what you need to do that. So if you're watching on social media, make sure to go to akexpertstv.com to watch all of our segments. And if you are live right now with us, stay with us. We'll be right back.